Good evening all. Okay, so what is the question that you have been writing? So please note this question. This one, chances of this legislative council question is relatively less because Rajya Sabha points, whatever you wrote just before just at the end of the morning session, that points is very, very important points. One or other way it will get help you, because even if they ask a question on parliamentary reforms, so those points actually you can make use of it there. Rajya Sabha related provisions. Please note down once. Direct, almost you can say your 169, 171 Lakshmikant related, but just the last provisions, analyze, critically analyze aspects you need to. So pretty easy questions, no, nothing conceptual. So part 1, review working current status, suitable illustrations. Quick. So now obviously how can you start the introduction? You have to briefly write about first what do you mean by these legislative councils, like this the kind of pattern that we use under Rajya Sabha, same kind of pattern you can use. So please write. Constitution provides an option for the state legislatures. Constitution provides an option for the state legislatures either to be unicameral or bicameral. Constitution provides an option for the state legislatures to be either unicameral or bicameral. To be unicameral or bicameral. At present only how many? 6 states have bicameral legislature. At present only 6 states have legislative council also you can say, or bicameral legislature. Only 6 states have bicameral legislature with legislative councils. Six states have bicameral legislatures with legislative council. You know that, just you can mention them. Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra, Telangana, UP, Bihar. Means you have to convey to the evaluator that you know broadly about legislative council first. In Karnataka, Maharashtra, Andhra, Bihar, Telangana, UP, Bihar. Now what they are telling, look at, clearly telling, explain the constitutional provisions under which legislative councils are created. So obviously which is the provision? Article, one composition is article under which legislative establish, they are telling. 169 is most important. Article 169 provides for, Article 169 deals with, then if you want you can extra, you can write composition. Composition also you have to write here. Article 169 deals with establishment of legislative councils, and then write that procedure. So obviously what is the procedure under that? A respective state assembly has to pass a resolution. Respective state assembly has to pass, this is your content part also, which is your answer part also now. State assembly has to pass a resolution by which majority? Special majority. That is removal. Confuse already. Effective is only for removal. State assembly has to pass a resolution by special majority. Means Same, absolute and 2/3. Because remember, special is not defined. Anything other than simple, absolute and effective is special only. That is absolute majority and 2/3 present and voting. And that, then who has to confirm it? Parliament has to pass a resolution, means both the houses. Parliament has to pass a resolution by simple majority. Parliament has to pass resolution by simple majority. Has to pass resolution by simple majority. That is 169. Then they are not specifically talking about composition, but you can write the constitutional provisions. And then 171. Article 171 deals with composition of legislative council. 171 deals with the composition of legislative council. Composition of the legislative council. Fine, and what does it say? Right, the minimum strength is 40 and the maximum is 1/3 of the strength of assembly. Minimum strength is 40 and the maximum is 1/3 of the strength of the state assembly. Maximum is 1/3 of the strength of state assembly. One by three of the strength of state assembly. 1/3 of the strength of the state assembly. Fine. Below that, obviously, who fixes? Parliament determines the exact strength. Parliament determines the exact strength. Parliament determines the exact strength. And now under that, 1/3. Very simple, what you have studied for your basics. 1/3 is what? Indirectly elected by whom? MLAs first. Local bodies then. I mean, anyhow you can write 1/3 are indirectly elected by the MLAs. Then local bodies, 1/3 elected by the local bodies. One by three elected by the local bodies. Then 1/12 by whom? 1/12 by the teachers. Same with minimum 3 years standing. Same, write it as graduates. You're just writing it, that's it. There is no analytical, no argumentation in this part, first part. First subpart is pure factual. 1/12 by teachers with minimum 3 years standing. 1/12 by graduates with minimum 3 years standing, and the rest 1/6 is nominated by governor. Add one extra ground. Arts, science, social service, literature and cooperative society. 1/6 nominated by governor from the fields of arts, science, social service, literature and cooperative movement. And cooperative movement. This is composition. This is almost, you can say, first part 1, cooperative movement. And now you need to review the working, current status and everything. Fine. Yeah, now write that below. Functioning of legislative council, if you want, you can put a subheading. As I keep telling, if you are good in what you call as is writing sentences, you can use linking sentences. That will work much better also, your wish. Functioning of the legislative councils. Under that, first significance, that is positive, then limitation. You don't have too much of advantages, but you can generate the points because that is what is the question demanding. Functioning of legislative councils, under that significance. Significance. Of course, first one acts as a revisionary chamber. Same, more or less, obviously points related to Rajya Sabha will overlap. Acts as a revisionary chamber. Obviously, one line you explain what does that mean. That is what? Acting as a check against hasty legislations of assembly. Acts as a check against hasty legislations of assembly. Check against the hasty legislations of assembly. Hasty legislations of assembly. Fine. 2. provides opportunity for representation of, provides opportunity for the representation of, provides opportunity for the representation of, this what, teachers, graduates and few experts. Representation of teachers, graduates and few experts. Representation means diverse representation. Teachers, graduates and few experts. Fine. Then 3, provides an opportunity for, provides an opportunity for those who lack popular mandate. Opportunity for those who lack popular mandate to involve in legislator or to involve in lawmaking. Who lack the popular mandate to involve in lawmaking. To involve in the lawmaking. Fine. It is similar to the role of Rajya Sabha at the parliament level. Similar to the role of Rajya Sabha at the national level. And what they can also do? They can also initiate bills. It can also initiate bills. It can also initiate bills, and if you want, you can the same point come in and make the ministers, make the government accountable to the House. It can also initiate bills and make the Council of Ministers, COM, accountable to the House. Accountable to the House. Then limitations, because it's, however, in practice, legislative councils are ineffective, are very ineffective. In practice, legislative councils are very ineffective. Very ineffective. Like what? First one, it is criticized as secondary chamber. It is criticized as secondary chamber. Unlike Rajya Sabha. Criticized as secondary chamber and means one level below, unlike Rajya Sabha. Yeah, what do you mean by that? If secondary chamber is the case, for that you explain one line. Ultimate decision will always lie with the assembly. Ultimate decision will always be with the assembly, which can override council. Ultimate decision is always with the assembly, which can override council. You recall, if assembly passes a bill and then council rejects, whatever you do, ultimately assembly will get the upper hand, which can override the council. Fine. Then next one, Rajya Sabha is modelled on Senate, but council is modelled on House of Lords. Rajya Sabha is modelled on Senate, US Senate, but council is modelled on House of Lords, UK House of Lords. Hence, it has no effective powers. It has no effective powers. It has no effective powers. Then its diverse composition is its weakness. Diverse composition is its weakness. And what is it also? It is highly outdated to the needs of 21st century. Because at that time, graduates, teachers, the assumption was that they will elect very, they are all wise people, they elect very rational members. But that assumption doesn't hold good today. And the composition is highly outdated compared to the needs of 21st century. Compared to the needs of 21st century. Then, even with respect to constitutional amendments, remember ratification, only assembly With respect to the constitutional amendments under 368 only, Assembly's ratification is necessary. Councils are, or you can say, bypassed or neglected. Councils are bypassed. Same like how you write for Rajya Sabha again. What is the limitation? They do not have any control on budget or money bills. They don't have any control on budget or money bills. Budget or money bills. Then again same, unlike Rajya Sabha, it is a temporary house. Temporary means, in other words, they can be abolished anytime. Unlike Rajya Sabha, it is a temporary, not rather than writing temporary, it has a temporary existence. It has a temporary existence. It can be abolished anytime. It has a temporary existence. It can be abolished anytime. For example, in Tamil Nadu, its existence depended on the, its existence depended on the party in power. Existence depended on the party in power. Another one, it is criticized that councils are a burden on the public money. Councils are a burden on public money. For example, Andhra Pradesh Assembly passed a resolution to abolish it on the same ground. Andhra Pradesh Assembly passed a resolution to abolish it on the same ground. To abolish it on the same ground. Then same like for Rajya Sabha, it has become a house or backdoor entry for the defeated politicians. It has become a backdoor entry for the defeated politicians. Backdoor entry for the defeated politicians. Then way forward. Punchi Commission. Punchi Commission. Rajya Sabha represents the interests of states. Rajya Sabha represents the interests of states. Similarly, Rajya Sabha represents the interests of states. Similarly, councils should be restructured. Councils should be restructured to represent the interests of local bodies. Councils should be restructured to represent the interests of local bodies. So, Rajya Sabha states council should represent whom then? Local bodies. Means completely composition itself you change is what? Who is telling? Punchi Commission has told. Then again, that is also Punchi Commission only. If you want for under Punchi Commission you can write, or you can write it and then in bracket you write Punchi Commission. It should be made or it should be given a permanent existence similar to Rajya Sabha to increase its credibility. Given Punchi Commission, second ARC. It should be given a permanent existence. It should be given a permanent existence similar to Rajya Sabha to increase its credibility. To increase its credibility. In bracket second ARC, Punchi Commission. To increase its credibility. Second ARC, Punchi Commission. Then, with respect to lawmaking, passing of legislations, with respect to lawmaking or ordinary, whatever you can say, lawmaking, it should have equal powers to, assembly, similar to Rajya Sabha. It should have equal powers with respect to the assembly. Equal powers with respect to the assembly in bracket Rajya Sabha. So, in other words, similar to Rajya Sabha. Then multi-stakeholder, multi-party also you can say, multi-party consultations are necessary. Multi-party consultations are necessary to draft national policy on legislative councils. Multi-party discussions are necessary to draft national policy on legislative councils. To draft national policy on the legislative councils. Yeah, so then broader conclusion you can write. Legislative councils were envisioned by the constitution makers. Legislative councils were envisioned by the constitution makers. By the constitution makers to act as an effective check and balance. Envisioned by the constitution makers to act as effective check and balance against the popular assembly. Check and balance against the popular assembly. Popular assembly. However, in reality, in practice, they are not effective. However, in practice, they are not effective. Hence, comprehensive measures are required. Comprehensive measures are required to transform into a true revisionary chamber. Comprehensive reforms are required to transform it or to transform them into true revisionary chamber. Transform them into true revisionary chamber. Yeah, so this is, again, if in case they kind of repeat it, first part they might not repeat, at least second part, or you never know, maybe how they keep asking about how Rajya Sabha's role has declined over a period of years. Same pattern if they repeat and ask was what? That legislative councils have become ineffective in the recent decades. That pattern if they repeat also, these points will help you. Right? Of course, you can go anytime, you can search some extra points that you can keep adding always, but broader structure will always remain the same. Most of the 70-80% points also will remain same. Yeah, fine. Then committees will go to that. Before that, okay, this is election part. What is the 24 question on Parliament? Or 24, they have not asked a question on Parliament. No, I think there was one question. Lok Adalat. Yeah. Presiding officers, Rajya Sabha wants a speaker. Yeah, you can write this itself. Please put the heading. So if you write this, that means presiding officer's topic will be done. So it should be like combination of your answer rating also as well as your content part also. A lot of points you will be aware, but we need to structure it accordingly. Then this is a very, very favorite, very famous question. That means this is referring to which one? UK model. Then they are asking you, do you think this practice will impart objectivity to the office of Speaker of Lok Sabha? Implications for the robust functioning of parliamentary business in India. So means first they are telling you, obviously, what we'll structure it overall is that entire presiding officer, Lok Sabha speaker, or more or less every point related to Lok Sabha speaker should be there in your content. We'll write it a little more detailed one. Of course, then you can structure it. Same question. Remember, they have another few patterns, same kind of pattern. That you will write it as answer. This will write it in detail about entire speaker. And sure, not only this, in addition to this answer, some other extra points also, everything. Yeah, please start. Constitution in part 5, article 93, part 5 Union Government. Constitution in part 5, article 93 to 96, they keep telling if you heard. Constitution in part 5, article 93 provides for the office of speaker. Provides for the office of speaker. Fine. Obviously, what is he famously called as? Obviously, what is he is called as? Exactly, head of the house. He is called as the head of the house, guardian of the powers and privileges of head of the house, guardian of the powers and privileges of the house, its members and its committees. Guardian of the powers and privileges of the house, its members and its committees. Powers and privileges of the house, its members and its committees. Fine. Then below, under article 93, speaker is elected by article 93, speaker is elected by the house from amongst themselves. Speaker is elected by the house from amongst themselves. From amongst themselves. Fine. Then brother put it as what? Functions of speaker. So that everything related to speaker should be there at one place. That's the intention. Functions of speaker. Obviously, lot of things you only know. First one. Exactly. Maintains order and decorum. This is your typical Lakshmikant. Then comes your analysis part. Maintains order and decorum of the house. Maintains order and decorum of the house. B. Ultimate interpreter of the constitution, rules, conventions on the floor of the house. Ultimate interpreter of the constitution, rules and conventions on the floor of the house. So not in general, on the floor of the house. On the floor of the house. Then under article 110, under article 110, speaker decides if a bill is money bill or not. Under article 110, speaker decides if a bill is money bill or not. If a bill is money bill or not. Then under ADL, anti-defection law. Under it, this tier maybe they can ask a, because again if you use that logic of that UPSC tries to, as I told you, that prelims pattern if they try to repeat, in ADL if you observed, probably in 2 questions there are ADL related statements in prelims. Under ADL, obviously you know that, right, the point. Speaker is the decision maker. Under anti-defection law, speaker is the decision maker related to disqualification, or if you want, that also is fine. Speaker is a decision maker with respect to the disqualification issues. Disqualification of members. Then speaker has casting vote to maintain neutrality. Speaker only has casting vote to maintain neutrality. only has casting vote to maintain neutrality. Only has casting vote to maintain neutrality. Fine, then next one, joint session. Under Article 108, Speaker presides the joint session. Then chairperson of Rules Committee, Business Advisory Committee, General Purpose Committee. Chairperson of Rules Committee, Business Advisory Committee, General Purpose Committee. Rules Committee, Business Advisory Committee, General Purpose Committee. Yeah, broadly these are the functions, what you call it as. Fine. Okay, so then, I mean, if you want other point, I mean, related to that itself, salary allowances part of charged expenditure. Salary allowances part of charged expenditure. Removed by Lok Sabha by effective majority. Removed by Lok Sabha by effective majority. By Lok Sabha by effective majority. Right? And then before, because if you want to say that one speaker role will help, I mean one UK model will help, first identify criticisms of office of speaker. Then you tell why office UK model will help. That is how you need to link robust functioning. Yes, it will impart impartiality, all those things. Criticisms of the office of speaker. So many are there. Few, I mean, let's identify few. Criticisms of the office of speaker. First one, obviously what? Speaker belongs to the ruling party. Speaker belongs to the ruling party, hence impartiality and neutrality or objectivity is compromised. Belongs to the ruling party, hence impartiality and neutrality is compromised. Impartiality and neutrality is compromised. Fine, then 2. Under ADL, speaker's decision making power has politicized the office. Speaker's decision making power has politicized the office. Example, there are so many. Example, recent Manipur controversy. Remember last month also Supreme Court reclarified on that. Manipur controversy. Manipur Assembly controversy. Megh Chandra Singh case, that again under ADL will rewrite. Recent Manipur controversy, Manipur Assembly issue controversy. That is one. Then say money bill under Article 110. Under Article 110 or related to 110, whatever, money bill provision has been misused. Money bill provision has been misused, obviously for what? To bypass Rajya Sabha. Money bill provision has been misused to bypass Rajya Sabha through the office of speaker. Money bill provision has been misused to bypass Rajya Sabha through the office of speaker. Simple example is what? So many are there, 2, 3, Aadhaar bill, PMLA amendment, electoral bonds. Example, Aadhaar bill, PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Amendment, and PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Amendment, and electoral bonds. So all of them were passed as money bills. Electoral bonds. Electoral bonds. Fine, then next one, which is this interpretation of rules, you can say unilateral decision. It is only an option. It is only an option for the speaker to give up party membership. It is only an option for the speaker to give up party membership. Only an option for the speaker to give up party membership. to give up party membership. Yeah, then any other speaker related issues? Suspension, yeah, correct, suspension also. In the recent times, provisions related to suspension of MPs, have been misused to target the opposition. Provisions related to the suspension of MPs have been misused to target opposition. Target the opposition. Yeah. Now, Presiding, once a speaker, always a speaker. Once a speaker, always a speaker. Our model of once a speaker, always a speaker. Obviously, this is referring to which one? Yeah, it refers to the UK model of House of Commons, or Speaker of the House of Commons. Refers to the UK model of the Speaker of House of Commons. House of Commons. And that first provision is what? UK Speaker is man of the House. UK Speaker is man of the House. So, man of the House is the keyword. Man of the House. What does it mean? Speaker is not elected but chosen based on consensus. Now, here you have to link it to the implications, impartiality. UK Speaker is man of the House, that is, he is not elected but chosen based on consensus. Obviously, what will happen? This ensures neutrality to the office, or this ensures that Speaker, what do you call this? Speaker will be impartial. This ensures neutrality to the office. Neutrality to the office. Then, in UK, it is mandatory to give up party membership. In UK, it is mandatory to give up party membership. Mandatory to give party membership. This increases credibility of the office, trust in the office. Mandatory to give a party membership. This increases the credibility and trust in the office. Credibility and trust in the office. Fine. Then, same in UK, Speaker decides a money bill in consultation with senior most MPs. In UK, Speaker decides a money bill in consultation with senior most MPs. In consultation with senior most MPs. In consultation with, obviously what this does? This makes the office more this makes the decision more democratic. This makes the decision more democratic. Means unilateral decision is avoided. This makes the decision more democratic. Then write that once a speaker, always a speaker. Once a speaker, always a speaker. What do you mean by that? As a convention, opposition will not field a candidate. Once a speaker, always a speaker. As a convention, opposition will not field a candidate against the sitting speaker in the general election. Opposition, as a convention, opposition does not field a candidate against the sitting speaker in the general election. Against sitting speaker in the general election. Obviously, what this does? This keeps speaker away from the political stand or political narratives. This keeps speaker away from the politicization effect. Away from politicization effect. Away from the politicization effect. Then UK speaker is considered the most powerful speaker in the world. Speaker of UK is considered the most powerful speaker in the world. The most powerful speaker in the world. He has extensive powers to regulate the functioning of the House and behavior of its members. He has extensive powers to regulate the functioning of the House. Extensive powers to regulate the functioning of the House and the behavior of its members. And behavior of its members. So that's what everywhere we wrote: impartiality, parliamentary business, everything. The above provisions will certainly have a positive effect on office of speaker, certainly have a positive effect on the office of speaker in India by imparting more objectivity and neutrality. By imparting more objectivity and neutrality. By imparting more objectivity and neutrality. And obviously what this does? This strengthens functioning of parliamentary democracy in India. This will strengthen the functioning of parliamentary democracy in India. This will strengthen the functioning of parliamentary democracy in India. Strengthen the functioning of parliamentary democracy in India. So that is broader entirely about speaker. So anything else, even this anti-defection law, the anti-defection law will be detailedly we'll discuss as a separate provision. Yeah, no, same points, just make use of it and write the answer for, because as I told, it's a pattern again. This is a theme. This also you can say, rather than this is looks a better question, please write this. Because functioning, everything will remain the same. Some few additional pointers, like all those things, we can keep on adding. Note down the question first, take it as a 10 marker. Then if you have written the question, copy it if in case you're still not done. Done? Because you already know the content, write it in 7 minutes. Ten marker, 7 minutes. Yeah, I think it's a more broader question, more or less the same. Discuss the role of presiding office of state legislatures in maintaining order, impartiality, in conducting the legislative work, in facilitating best democratic practices. Means how they can cooperate, I mean, give better opportunities for the opposition, everything you need to write. Larger points will remain the same, but at least were you able to write in 7 minutes? It became a challenge little. It's a challenge only, obviously. So ideally 7 to 8 you can say, because 15 marker is, if you take it as 10 minutes, 10 into 10, 100. 10 marker if you take it as 8, 8 into 10, 80. So that is ideal one. But in practice, obviously, you will not get 8 minutes, because so you have to write so many things will be there in the mains hall. So at least you should be ready for 7, 7.5, and because it was a repeated content, so that's why I made you to write it in 7 minutes. Then we need not go through this question again. Discuss the role of Vice President of India as a chairperson of Rajya Sabha. You know that article, functioning, some criticism, some way forward. If you want, just note down the question. Same 3 questions on the same pattern. Rajya Sabha, Council, same pattern. Then you have committee questions, that will go to that now. Then there is another very basic, very basic question, which is your, this will not write, but just keep it in mind broadly. This one. Article 108, provisions for holding joint session of 2 houses of parliament. Enumerate the occasions when this would normally happen, occasions when it cannot, and what you need to look at it. With reasons thereof. So that part of means why money bill is not allowed for joint sitting, or why constitution bill is not allowed for joint sitting. You have to mention that reason. So why constitution? Obviously, you know the very basic provisions. Recall your article 108. Very simple, Lakshmikant's 108. So it is to resolve the deadlock or disagreement between the 2 houses. Which bills goes to joint sitting, when which bill will not go to joint sitting? Money bill, constitutional bill will not. That means, in other words, ordinary bill, financial bill 1, financial bill 2 has the provision of joint sitting. And when does it go? Also enumerate the occasions they are telling. Obviously, you know, if the second house rejects the bill, if the first house does not accept the amendments passed by second house, and withhold the bill for how many months? 6 months. All those you know that. Fine. Now, obviously, reason why constitution bill is not given for joint sitting, because Constitution does not want Lok Sabha to dominate over Rajya Sabha in the joint sitting. Let us say a bill was passed by Lok Sabha. I keep telling that, let us say Rajya Sabha blocked it. If in case there was a joint sitting for Constitution Amendment bill, that means the bill will go to joint sitting. So, but obviously in joint sitting, which house will dominate? Lok Sabha will dominate. That means even if Rajya Sabha blocked the Constitution Amendment bill, Lok Sabha can still get it passed in the joint sitting. But because you are talking about Constitution Amendment bill here, which are very important. So what the Constitution doesn't want? They don't want Rajya Sabha to, they don't want Lok Sabha to dominate over Rajya Sabha. That's why no joint sitting. Then same question if you ask, sir, then why money bills are not given for joint sitting? That's a different way, because let us say, for example, best thing that you will let us understand it with respect to take budget, because budget consists of both the bills, finance bill, appropriation bill, and both are what? Both are money bill. Let us say if you allow joint sitting, what does that mean? You are giving the power for Rajya Sabha to either amend, reject, as well as withhold it for 6 months. Now, if you do that, recall another provision, before March 31st, budget should get passed, or else government should resign. Now, obviously, if you allow the power for Rajya Sabha to amend or withhold for 6 months, what they can easily do? They can easily withhold budget. That means what is the impact? Government has to resign. So, how many, what every year will you keep doing that then? So, that's why to avoid that kind of what you call it as deadlock, or to avoid that kind of instability, Constitution does not give the power for Rajya Sabha to have a control on money bill. So both are different reason, though the result is the same. Other bills, it doesn't matter much. That's why for ordinary bill, financial bill 1, financial bill 2, Constitution provides equal powers for Rajya Sabha, similar to that of whom? Lok Sabha. That's why you have the provision of joint sitting also. So this is a theory based, I mean simple direct to Lakshmikant based question. But if you want to note down the question, or else it's fine, because chances of this getting repeated very less. Again, if in case they repeat the pattern with respect to state legislature, recall in the state legislature, what is the legislative procedure to pass a bill? How is it different? Recall, how is it different in state legislature? First one, what are the provisions? Yes, let's say if you take ordinary bill, you can introduce it in either house, assembly or council. Who can introduce? Same, a minister or private member. Governor's prior permission is not necessary. Let us say assembly introduces the bill. What are the options with council then? I mean, if they introduce and pass the bill, reject the bill, third one, amend the bill, fourth one, withhold it for maximum 3 months in the first round. Even if they do anything else, I mean, other than pass also any other option, the bill will go back to first house. Then let us say if they pass it again, then again if you reject it, you amend it, or you withhold it for maximum 1 month. Now what is the provision then? Bill will not go back, bill will directly go to governor. In other words, assembly can easily dominate council. But let us say, for example, council introduces the bill and assembly rejects the bill. What will happen to the bill? The bill ends. So if they repeat this pattern and ask it at state level what you don't even have, there is no provision of joint sitting in the state legislature. Clear? Because in the state legislature they have very less scope to ask questions. They have already asked council question, they have already asked presiding officer question. We saw that state legislature presiding, just now we wrote. The only other, if in case they have a scope, is this one, or else they have to make another broader question as what? Critical, like how the role of MPs have declined or parliament has declined. Same pattern what they may ask. Do you think that the role of, yeah, exactly, the functioning of the state legislatures have declined in the past decades? Same pattern of parliament, they'll put it there. More or less points will remain the same. In place of Lok Sabha, write assembly. In place of Rajya Sabha, write council, speaker. More or less everything will remain same. Clear? So this one, very less chances, but only that reasons thereof you need to identify that. Now look at the committee questions. This is 1 year. Why do you think committees are considered to be useful for parliamentary work? Discuss in this context the role of estimates committee. Then there is another question. I think 3 questions are there total. Okay, this is parliament accountability, that we'll write later. This is another one. Do department related parliamentary standing committee keep the administration on its toes and inspire reverence for parliamentary control? In other words, do you think department related standing committee can ensure accountability of the government, executive? Evaluate the working of such committees with suitable examples. Then, okay, this is another one. There is another committee related question. Structure of the parliamentary committee system. How far have the financial committees helped in institutionalization of Indian parliament? Means institutionalization of Indian parliament means take it as collective responsibility aspect. Yeah, that's it. I think 3 times they have asked committee related questions. So even if you understand about committees broadly, All the three questions you can write. But before that, let's write the broader content. Then you can write one of the answer. Put the broader heading, parliamentary committees. Parliamentary committees. Article 105, Article 118. Overall details about parliamentary committees will write. Article 105, Article 118. Constitution mentions about parliamentary committees but does not mention the details. Constitution mentions about parliamentary committees but does not contain any details. Mentions about parliamentary committees but does not contain any details. Does not contain any details. It is mentioned in the rules. It is mentioned in the rules. Then criteria for a parliamentary committee. All the points will write about committees overall. Criteria. A. Members should be elected by the House or appointed by the head of the House. Members should be elected by the House. Elected by the House or appointed by head of the House. Or appointed by head of the House. B. Functions under and reports to head of the House. Functions under and reports to the head of the House. Functions under and reports to the head of the House. Reports to the head of the House. Then C. Takes the assistance of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha Secretariat. Takes the assistance of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha Secretariat. Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha Secretariat. Yeah, so remember in 1 year they are structure. So make 2 columns or one after the other also, you can say that's left to you. Or make it like this, standing committees, standing parliamentary committees. That is what is your structure. Means type, standing parliamentary committees. Under that A, finance committees. Remember even in your OGP class also we keep writing this, finance committees. Under that A, public accounts committee. Public accounts will write separately again. Public accounts committee. B, estimates committee. C, committee on public undertakings. Public accounts committee, estimates committee, committee on public undertakings. Under that, second type, departmental standing committees. Departmental standing committees. Departmental standing committees. Then other committees, other standing committees like rules committee, business advisory committee. Other standing committees like rules committee, business advisory committee. Rules committee, business advisory committee. Yeah, then on this side, ad hoc committees. Ad hoc committees. Under that A, enquiry committees. Enquiry committees. Example, very famous ones are there. Bofors committee, stock market scam committee, or if you want, committee on parliamentary attacks. Bofors committee, stock market committee, stock market inquiry, stock market, yeah, stock market. Then advisory committees. Example, select or joint committee on bills, like JPC on data protection bill, JPC on surrogacy, JPC on WAQF, if you want specific ones, but that will write as your examples. Select or joint committee on bills. Select or joint committee on bills. This is structuring part. That's what one of the questions subparts. Now, significance of parliamentary committees. Even if there's departmental committees, largely things will not change. Most of the points will remain same. Few points about department committees you should be knowing. Significance of parliamentary committees. First one, Parliament neither has time nor expertise. Parliament neither has time nor expertise. Hence, these committees help in detailed discussion of the bills and policies. These committees help in detailed discussion of bills and policies. These committees help in the detailed discussion of bills and policies. B. Extension of that. They are famously described as, or they are described as mini parliaments. Famously described as mini parliament. Means what they do? They refine the bills by including diverse opinions. They refine the bills by including diverse opinions. Example, JPC on data protection bill, JPC on recent, if you want, Waqf bill. JPC on data protection bill, JPC on Waqf amendment bill. Waqf amendment bill. So, mini parliament is the keyword. Right? Then they enhance financial accountability. They enhance financial accountability of the COM to the legislature. Financial accountability of the COM to the legislature. Financial accountability of the COM to the legislature. Simple example, PAC, that again we'll write separately. PAC, most importantly, that we need to write separately. PAC is famously described as what? Mother of all parliamentary committees. Or PAC, if you want more specific, you can write PAC goes through what? CAG audit reports. Anything you can write. PAC is famously described as mother of parliamentary committees, or PAC goes through looks into the audit reports of CAG. Audit reports of CAG. Fine. Then they function outside the floor of the house. That means automatically, what is the point? Exactly. They function outside the floor of the house. Outside the floor of the house, hence, anti-defection law will not apply. Anti-defection law, whips, anything you call them as, they function outside the floor of the house. Hence, anti-defection law or whips will not apply. Will not apply. Then they function in closed door environment. They function in closed door environment. Hence, MPs can involve in rational, objective discussion without party bias. They function in closed door environment. Hence, MPs can involve in rational, objective discussion without party bias. Without party bias. Without party bias. Then greater opportunity for representation of greater opportunity for the representation of whom and whom? For the representation of opposition and Rajya Sabha MPs. opposition and Rajya Sabha MPs. Opposition and the Rajya Sabha MPs. Yeah, so these are your broader ones. Review departmental standing committees. Okay, they go through the demand for grants. If you want, you can write that DSCs, departmental standing committees, scrutinizers, demand for grants of their respective ministries. DSC, departmental standing committees, scrutinize demand for grants of their respective ministries. Demand for grants of their respective ministries. Obviously, again, what? This enhances accountability of COM. Enhances accountability of COM. Now, limitations of parliamentary committees. Limitations of parliamentary committees. First one, it is not mandatory to give the bills to these, forward the bills to these committees. It is not mandatory to forward bills to these committees. It is not mandatory to forward bills to these committees. Example, Farm Bills RTI Amendment Bill passed directly by the Parliament or by bypassing any words. Farm Bills RTI Amendment Bill passed by bypassing these committees. Farm Bills RTI Amendment Bill were passed by bypassing these committees. Bypassing these committees. Fine. Then two, of course, what? Their reports are not binding. Their reports are not binding. Their reports are not binding. Simple is what? Example, PAC reports, Public Accounts Committee reports are not discussed in detail by the House. PAC reports are not discussed in detail by the House. I mean, general every committees, but specifically PSC we are writing. PSC reports are not discussed in detail in the House. Fine. Then next one. As meetings are held closed door. So this is other way of looking closed door meetings. As the meetings are held closed door, what is the disadvantage? Lack of transparency in its functioning. As the meetings are held closed door, lack of transparency in its functioning. Lack of transparency in its functioning. Lack of transparency in its functioning. Then most of these committees have 1 year term. Most of these committees have 1 year term. Most of these committees have 1 year term. Hence, members cannot develop expertise. Most of these committees have 1 year term. Hence, members cannot develop expertise. So, it's practically not possible. Members cannot develop expertise. Right, then, even in these committees, members take their party stand. Members take their party stand, thereby affecting its real purpose. Affecting its real purpose. Example, thereby affecting its real purpose. Example, controversies in the recent JPC on Waqf bill. So you might have seen those continuously, they kept on fighting. Example, controversies with respect to or in the context of the recent JPC on Waqf bill. JPC on Waqf bill. Yeah, so then way forward. First one, rules of the House should be amended. Rules of the House should be amended to make it mandatory to forward bills to these committees. Rules should be amended to make it mandatory to forward bills to these committees. In bracket, second ARC, even NCRWC also. To make it mandatory to forward bills to these committees, NCRWC, National Commission for Reviewing the Working of Constitution, NCRWC. Then 2, report should be binding on the House. Report should be binding on the House, else reasons should be mentioned, second ARC. Report should be binding on the House, else reasons should be mentioned. So why are you not accepting it? Mention the reasons, second ARC. Else reason should be mentioned. Then 3, action taken report. Action taken report should be placed in the House. Action taken report should be placed in the House. Should be placed in the House based on the recommendations of the committee. Should be placed in the House based on recommendations of the committee. Again, NCRWC, second ARC also. Recommendations of the committee. NCRWC. Then follow UK model in which meetings of the important committees should be held in open door. In other words, media people, let them get to know. Follow UK model in which the meetings of important committees should be held in open door environment. Meetings of the important committees should be held in open door environment. Should be held in open door environment. Then term of the members should be increased to 2 years. Term should be increased to 2 years so that members develop expertise. Again, NCRWC. Term should be increased to 2 years so that the members can develop expertise. So that members can develop expertise in CRWC. Members can develop expertise. Then research team consisting of subject experts and officers. Research team consisting of subject experts and officers. Research team consisting of subject matter experts and officers should be allocated to these committees. Subject matter experts and officers should be allocated to these committees to improve their effectiveness. To improve their effectiveness. So broadly, these are your way forward ones. Just here to clarify, remember, for a lot of what way forward we kept telling NCRWC, second ARC like that. So some actually NCRWC might not have recommended also, but we just mentioned it. So just to tell, because a lot more few people who have written multiple means know this trick. It's a half fact. Half fact means not necessary that NCRWC has told it, but you just have to you can just mention NCRWC. But what you should know the trick, because if you try to over bluff, it's a problem. Because remember, the evaluator will not be checking the facts and all those things. But you should write facts in such a way, like when you're quoting reports, that it should be linked. Linked means what? You cannot say here in bracket World Bank, because if you say it like that, what will happen? How is World Bank talking about this? If you try to say that kind of facts, obviously evaluator will be very angry, because obviously the message will be sent as what? That you are trying to play with me. So you should write it in such a way that it should look like plausible, means yeah, very high chances that NCW, second ARC would have told, or some other parliamentary committee would have told. Like let's say when you write in GS-3, you can say World Bank, IMF, Niti Aayog, Economic Survey, because obviously most of it they would have told. So you should have that, what do you call this, understanding of which, what do you call this, institution or which report would have talked about it. Broadly, even if you say, more or less it looks like, okay, fine, very high chances they would have told. Even in place of NCRWC, you would have written second ARC also, it will work. Even if you write Law Commission also, it will work. Most of them NCRWC has told. I am telling you, in real time, it's not so easy. But you may have to quote one or other report or committee or something like that, because it's necessary. Rather than just writing so-and-so recommendation, if you tell NCRWC or second ARC or Law Commission, obviously the value for your answer will increase. So you can make use of that half fact. Understood? Yeah, okay, so fine. So broadly, these are about your committees. Any committee, even if they tell departmental committees, most of it will remain same. No broader changes. Of course, if they have more specific, like Public Accounts Committee, then things will change a bit. As I told, they have asked Public Accounts Committee question once, but I have put it under your, actually governance I have put. I'll show you the question. I'll just read it out. I think that they have not put it here yet. But this year, I'm again, just to expecting that this question may come back again. For simple reason, it's been in news related to various issues. So you can write the question like this. Discuss the role of Public Accounts Committee in establishing accountability of the government to the people. Discuss the role of Public Accounts Committee. So specifically that. Discuss the role of Public Accounts Committee in establishing. You can take it as current affairs, you can take it as PYQ, everything. In establishing accountability of the government to the people. Establishing accountability of the government to the people. Overall accountability of the government. Even if you take it as what? Critically analyze the functioning of Public Accounts Committee also, more or less it means the same. Of course, a lot of way forward, everything will change a little bit, but you need to in detail mention about which one. What do you mean by this Public Accounts Committee? What are their functions? What are their famous reports or something like that? What are their loopholes? A little specific loopholes are also there, and then criticisms, and then way forward. Some 30 to 40% points will repeat, but because this is very important from current affairs perspective, please write this again. Start. Specifically about Public Accounts Committee will write. First write about the basics. Public Accounts Committee was first established by, PSC was first established by which one? Government of India Act 1919, Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Government of India Act 1919. Government of India Act 1919. It is one of the most important finance committees. One of the most important finance committees. One of the most important finance committees. And now under that, composition of PSC. Very simple. Again, this is your Lakshmikant. Composition of PSC, you know that, please write. Obviously, how many? 22 members, split it. 15 Lok Sabha, 7 Rajya Sabha. 22 members, 15 Lok Sabha, 7 Rajya Sabha. Then, remember, we keep telling the 3 points keeps getting repeated. What is the first one? Elected by the House based on PRS TV. Elected by the House based on PRS TV. 2, 1-year term. Elected by the House based on PRS TV. Next, 1-year term. Next, ministers cannot be members. Ministers cannot be members. Then, as a convention, opposition party MP is the head. As a convention, opposition party MP is the head. Opposition party MP is the head. Then put it as functions and first copy this. That also you need to write there. Remember all basics. Then we'll go to the analysis part. Don't overlook basics, because normally there is an assumption that it is not necessary. It is necessary, because without that you can't put your argumentations. Functions of PSC, first copy it and then explain that a bit. Yeah, that means that's your first major function. What do they do? PSC looks into the audit report submitted by CAG. PSC looks into audit report submitted by CAG. Audit report submitted by CAG, especially related to appropriation accounts and finance accounts. Audit report submitted by CAG, especially related to the finance accounts and appropriation accounts, means income and expenditure. Finance accounts and appropriation accounts. Then PSC can examine scrutiny. PSC can examine both appropriation and finance accounts. Can examine both appropriation accounts and finance accounts. Can scrutiny both appropriation and finance accounts. Then it can summon any minister or officer. It can summon any minister or officer to answer before them. Any minister or officer to answer before them. Example, PSC summoned former RBI Governor Urjit Patel. Any officer or minister to answer before them. Example, PSC summoned former RBI Governor Urjit Patel with respect to demonetization issue. Remember recently SBI chief also they summoned. That's why again in current affairs. With respect to the demonetization issue. Demonetization issue. Fine, then next one. PSC will look into not only the CAG, PSC will look into not only the legal regulatory aspects, not only the legal regulatory aspect, but also the wisdom and proprietary aspect. Not only the legal regulatory aspect, but also wisdom and propriety aspects of the policies of the government. Means they can question the policy itself, but also the wisdom and propriety of the policies of the government. Of the policies of the government. Policies of the government. Then PSC submits detailed reports to the Parliament, or which will be placed in the Parliament. PSC submits detailed reports which will be placed in Parliament. Detailed reports which will be placed in Parliament. Example, PSC reports on 2G spectrum allocation or 2G scam, Commonwealth scam, etc. Example, PSC reports on 2G scam, Commonwealth scam, etc. Commonwealth scam, etc. Yeah, now that is your function, that is your significance also in a way. Of course, kind of related to that you can add, as it is headed by opposition, as it is headed by an opposition MP, obviously what is more? Obviously what will be more if it is headed by opposition MP? Chances of bias is less, or in other words, accountability of government is more. As it is headed by opposition MP, chances of, or you can say accountability of government will be more. as it is headed by an opposition MP, accountability of the government is high. Then, as members are elected on PRS-TV, as members are elected on PRS-TV, as members are elected based on PRS-TV, it has proportionate representation of all the parties. That's why they have chosen PRS-TV. It has proportionate representation of all the parties. That means making it more diverse, proportionate representation of all the parties. Fine. Then it provides opportunity for Rajya Sabha MPs because they have 7 members. Provides opportunities for Rajya Sabha MPs to enhance financial accountability of COM. Provides opportunities for Rajya Sabha MPs to enhance financial accountability of COM. To enhance financial accountability of COM. And now you write limitations. Now a lot of points will overlap because ultimately this is also a committee. Yeah, and above significance, you could have written that one famous statement. What is it famously described as? Yeah, exactly. You can write that statement. It is famously called as above that function, significance, whatever, famously described as mother of all parliamentary committees. Famously described as a mother of all parliamentary committees. Mother of all parliamentary committees. Now, under criticisms or limitations, first, it is criticized as post-mortem committee. Criticized as post-mortem committee. Obviously, what is the reason? As it looks into the issues after post-mortem committee, as it looks into the issues after financial misappropriations. Looks into the issues after the financial misappropriation. After financial misappropriation. That is one. Two, obviously, as I told, which one? Their reports are not discussed in detail. Their reports are not discussed in detail in Parliament. Are not discussed in detail in the Parliament. Then this also will what? That is also what? Exactly. Their reports are not binding. Their reports are not binding. Their reports are not binding. And then same, closed door. Meetings are held closed door, lack of transparency. Meetings are held closed door, hence lack of transparency. Meetings are held closed door, hence lack of transparency. Lack of transparency. Then its powers to summon officers and ministers. Its power to summon officers and ministers are sometimes compromised. Its power to summon the officers and ministers are sometimes compromised. Means sometimes they don't attend, they don't give value, or sometimes compromised. Example, recent issue with respect to SEBI chief are sometimes compromised. Example, recent controversy related to the SEBI chief. Controversy related to SEBI chief. Then it has no power. It has no power to give any orders. It has no power to give or enforce its orders. It has no power to issue or enforce orders. No powers to issue or enforce orders. Then, though CAG is described as friend, philosopher and guide of PSC, though CAG is described as friend, philosopher and guide of PSC, friend, philosopher and guide of PSC, It is not consulted while appointing CAG, because these points will come back in your way forward later. It is not consulted. PAC is not consulted in appointment of CAG. Not consulted in the appointment of CAG. Not consulted in the appointment of CAG. Then obviously same point, what? Members of PSC are also MPs. Obviously what they lack then? They lack expertise to look into the technical details of CAG audit reports. Members of PSC are also MPs, hence they lack expertise to look into technical details of CAG audit reports. Lack the expertise to look into technical details of CAG audit reports. Yeah, now way forward. According to Ashok Chanda, former CAG, Ashok Chanda committee also they tell, according to Ashok Chanda, former CAG, even Vinod Rai also, Ashok Chanda former CAG, Vinod Rai former CAG, or former CAGs like Ashok Chanda and Vinod Rai. Ashok Chanda and Vinod Rai. PAC should be involved in appointment of CAG. PAC should be involved in appointment of CAG. Should be involved in the appointment of CAG. So both have told them and recommended it. They also have told increase the term of members to 2 years. Increase the term of members to 2 years. So same point where you wrote under committees. Then follow UK model in which meetings of PAC are held in open door. Follow UK model in which meetings of PAC are held in open door. Meetings of PAC are held in open door. Of course, rest also will remain same. Which one? Their report should be binding and action taken report. All these will repeat. Way forward, lot of points are same. Their report should be binding, action taken report should be submitted. Action taken report should be submitted. Yeah, so this is very famous current affairs point also, and this committee you should always have a detailed report, detailed points. Then I think committee related is more than enough. So 3 questions, same pattern. You don't have to write it again. Now another pattern in another theme in your parliament chapter. Read this question first. Correct. So overall the question is about what? Decline. Individual parliamentarians' role is on decline, which in turn affects quality of debates and outcomes. This one. Role of individual MPs declined, that is diminished over the years. As a result, healthy debates are not usually witnessed. How? Now second part, they specifically linked it to which one? Anti-defection law. Then again, broadly it is the same only. To what extent do you think Parliament is able to ensure accountability of executive? Decline in the overall parliamentarian's role or decline in the effectiveness of Parliament? This is, I think that's it. So those are your 3 questions. That means what is the theme then? You only can easily tell. Put the theme question. Decline in the effectiveness of parliaments. Decline in the effectiveness of parliaments. Decline in the effectiveness of parliaments. More or less same question if they repeat as I told with respect to state legislature also, you can use the same points. Decline in the effectiveness of parliament. First write broadly about parliament or legislature, then you will go to the limitations. Parliament is famously described as temple of democracy. Parliament is famously described as the temple of democracy. Famously described as a temple of democracy. Famously described as temple of democracy. When it represents the diversity of the country. It represents the diversity of the country. Represents the diversity of the country. And then something like this you can put functions of legislature or functions of parliament. Functions of parliament. First one obviously is what? Very simple one. Law making. Making of laws. Law making. To represent the interests of their constituency. That is MP specifically, or represent the interests of people if you want parliament. Represent the interests of people. Interests of people. 3. Make the COM accountable to the House. 75 clause 3. Make the COM accountable to the House. Article 75 clause 3. Make the COM accountable to the House. Then, if you want more specifically, represent the interests of states and duties in bracket Rajya Sabha. Represent the interests of states and duties Rajya Sabha. Represent the interests of the states and duties Rajya Sabha. Yeah, now broadly what you can tell, causes for decline. So many are there, lot of points will get repeated because Rajya Sabha will get repeated, speaker few points will get repeated. Causes for decline. Of course, many are there. First one is what? Criminalization of politics. Criminalization of politics. Write the facts. The moment you get that, according to ADR, 18th Lok Sabha, yeah, 44, not 44, now it is 45. According to ADR, 18th Lok Sabha, 45%. 45 point something, around 45%. Criminalization of politics, according to ADR, 18th Lok Sabha, 45%. 2. Very low representation of women. That point again will get repeated when we discuss women reservation bill. That also you know, according to ADR, 14%. 18th Lok Sabha. Low representation of women. According to ADR, 18th Lok Sabha, 14%, 1-4. That is another one. Next one, which obviously we have seen it in your speaker itself, politicization of office of speaker. Politicization of the office of speaker, especially because of ADL. Politicization of the office of speaker, especially because of ADL. Now, speaker itself, you have 2-3 points. You know that money bill controversy is there, ADL issue is there, especially because of ADL, and you can say money bill, misuse of money bill provision, especially because of ADL and misuse of money bill provision. Money bill provision. Of course, ADL's another one is what? ADL has transformed. ADL has transformed legislators into. ADL has transformed legislators into puppets in the hands of parties. If you don't want to use those kind of harsh words, you can say Yeah, so what do you call this? ADL has led to compromising the quality of the debate, something like that you can say. Puppets in the hands of parties, thereby affecting what? Thereby affecting, yeah, thereby affecting their freedom of speech and expression. Affecting their freedom of speech and expression. Of course, thereby healthy debates also, thereby affecting their freedom of speech and expression and healthy debates. Affecting their freedom of speech and expression and healthy debates. And healthy debates. Then Rajya Sabha points if you want to write. Rajya Sabha has transformed into blocking chamber. Rajya Sabha has transformed into a blocking chamber. Transformed into a blocking chamber. Then next one. The number of days of functioning has decreased drastically. Number of days of functioning has decreased drastically. It is around 70 days. Number of days of functioning has decreased drastically. It is around 70 days. Bracket ADR PRS. ADR PRS. It is around 70. ADR PRS. Then parliamentary committees have been bypassed. Parliamentary committees have been bypassed. Compromising accountability. That also again we have written so many examples, farm bills, RTI amendment bill, government of, here you can write example, government of NCT Delhi bill passed without any debates or committee scrutiny. Government of NCT Delhi bill passed without scrutiny of debates or parliament. Passed without the scrutiny of committees or parliament. Without the scrutiny of the committees or parliament. And that is another one. Then ADL you have mentioned, speaker you mentioned, parliamentary privilege, okay. A dominance of that you can say. Dominance of few big states in the house, in parliament. Dominance of few big states in the parliament, thereby compromising federal equilibrium. Thereby compromising federal equilibrium. Compromising federal equilibrium. Simple, for both you can say example, UP has seats in both the houses. UP has representation in both the houses, which is more than entire Northeast combined. Means you can call it as Lok Sabha seats also, Rajya Sabha seats also. Has huge representation in both the houses, which is more than entire Northeast combined. More than entire Northeast combined. Then positions like Deputy Speaker, Leader of Opposition, positions like Deputy Speaker, Leader of Opposition were not appointed in the previous 17th Lok Sabha. Positions like Deputy Speaker and LOP were not appointed in 17th Lok Sabha. Not appointed in 17th Lok Sabha. Then dominance of ruling party in the House, especially in case of majority government. Dominance of ruling party in the House, especially in case of majority government. Especially in the case of majority government. Yeah, if you have any other points, you can tell, we can add them. Broadly, we have tried to, this is, you can keep on writing, there are still few others. Lack of strong opposition, you can write. But yeah, broadly fine. These are all major ones. Now, way forward. All these points, every year you can make use of them. Way forward. How will you address them? Most of it points obviously were mentioned already. For speaker you can mention few, Rajya Sabha you can mention few, money bill you can mention few. Speaker we already know. Obviously what? Follow UK model of once a speaker, always a speaker, to depoliticize speaker. Follow UK model of speaker to depoliticize the office. UK model of speaker to depoliticize the office. To depoliticize the office. To depoliticize the office. Then follow US Senate model to restructure Rajya Sabha. That morning, if you recall, we told that. Follow US Senate model to restructure Rajya Sabha. That means what you have to do? Equal seats for all states. Obviously, because who has told this? Punchi Commission. Follow US Senate model to restructure Rajya Sabha. Provide equal representation, equal seats for all states, in bracket Punchi Commission. Equal representation for all the states, Punchi Commission. Then again, follow UK model. Follow UK model in which opposition is given. Follow UK model in which opposition is given opportunity to. Opposition is given the opportunity to decide the proceedings of the House. Opposition is given opportunity to decide proceedings of the House for 25% days. Opportunity to decide the proceeding means business advisory committee, let them head to decide the proceedings of the House for 25%, or you can say around whatever 25 to 30% of the total number of days. So let them decide what bills, everything, 25% of the days. That is another one. Then of course broader aspect, because if you want, okay, women that implement 106th Amendment 2023 to that you know that to enhance, to increase women's representation. 106th Amendment 2023 to increase women's representation. To increase women's representation. Then comprehensive electoral reforms based on Dinesh Goswami committee. That again electoral reforms will discuss under elections. Dinesh Goswami committee, Inderjit Gupta committee, and Law Commission reports to address COP. That again is a separate question, we'll discuss. Inderjit Gupta committee, Dinesh Goswami committee, and Law Commission reports to address criminalization of politics. To address criminalization of politics. To address the criminalization of politics. Address the criminalization of politics. And then Rajya Sabha you have mentioned, right? Okay, budget. Rajya Sabha should be given. Rajya Sabha should be given greater powers to discuss budget. It should be, Rajya Sabha should be given greater powers to discuss budget, which is the most important document of the country. To discuss budget, which is the most important document of the government. The most important document of the government. Of course, what you do, one of the ADL points you can write. ADL decision making power. This again will get repeated under your ADL topic. ADL decision making power should be taken out of speaker. ADL decision making power should be taken away from the speaker. In bracket Law Commission, NCRWC. Taken away from the speaker. Law Commission, NCRWC. Law Commission and NCRWC. Right? Yeah, so few others are also there. Obviously, money bill separately you could have mentioned. So many are there. That one, the number of days. So there is a bill itself. Lok Sabha should function for 120 days and Rajya Sabha 100 days minimum. For that you have a bill also that I'll show. Lok Sabha should function for minimum 120 days and Rajya Sabha minimum 100 days in a year. Again NCRWC. Minimum 120 days Lok Sabha, minimum 100 days Rajya Sabha, NCRWC. For that you also have a bill actually. You can write that a bill also. Parliament enhancement of the productivity bill should be passed. Parliament enhancement of the productivity bill. Enhancement of productivity, put it in brackets. Parliament enhancement of productivity bill should be passed. Enhancement of the productivity bill should be passed. Yeah, so broadly these are your way forward. Of course, you can go and add few, you will always keep getting that. A very, very important topic, parliamentary effectiveness or decline in the effectiveness of parliament. Or even if they ask, do you think parliament has been effective in making the government accountable also in another way? More or less it is related to the same topics. If you want, what you try to do is, same point, please write this question. So structure it and write it as a 10 marker. Repeat the question, note it down. Let's see how, because you know the pointers. Let's see, can you write it in 7 minutes? Please push yourself, structure it accordingly, increase the font size, play with spacing of words. To what text exactly copy it. Even if you write 5 to 6 points under, first write about, okay, I think by now you should be aware about how to structure. Please start, 7 minutes, 10 marker. 5 pointers under one subheading is more than enough. So at least were you able to generate points, at least like 1.5 side? Please, what you do, you only go through it, write down your limitations in the margin. Like, you'll be knowing, be honest with yourself, right? Was it the time issue? Was the retention, or you can say recalling of the points issue? Or was it, or is it handwriting issue? Or what is it? Or keywords are you not able to use or not able to underline? Introduction, you had a problem with what to start with introduction, or you had a problem with how to conclude. Please write yourself. You can be as honest with you. Were you not able to recall the facts? Anything. Time to time management, to space management, to speed, to quality of the points, to facts, to the handwriting, presentation aspects, what you call it as. So you note it down so that you can track your own progress, or you give to it to your friend, someone, so that they can at least identify that. Fine. Okay, so this is one broader aspect, or even as I told, what they can ask the question as, discuss the need, that word they have still not used, discuss the need for the comprehensive parliamentary reforms. Even if they ask that parliamentary reform issue also, most of the points will overlap. Fine. And you have to get few points from speaker, get few points from Rajya Sabha, get few related to committees. Automatically you can make the broad, that is more broader question, because they are asking about overall parliamentary reforms. Fine. Okay, so that is another one. Then any other kind of questions which is there in your parliament, we'll go through it first. I think mostly that's it. Estimates, all those things done. Executive, DSC, Legislative Council, committee system, finance committees, presiding officers. Yeah, Rajya Sabha transformation. Privileges is there, that will come to that. Did we leave out on any PVQs? I think most of it is done. I've made few questions. If in case I get any new one there, we'll go through that. ADL is there. We'll sum up ADL once for all so that you will get an idea. We'll first discuss on Parliament first. These type of question, if they ask, I mean, just to be mentally ready. So based on whatever kind of questions we have seen, this is easily an extrapolation. It's not just a representation of the diversity, platform for shaping the future. Lots of shortcomings, discuss the need for parliamentary reforms. I'll go through it. If in case you get any extra points, you can note it down under your parliamentary effectiveness, whatever we have mentioned. Exactly. There's another one under way forward where you wrote the content before you writing this answer. Under way forward, you can add another one. Inculcate pre-legislative assessment and post-legislative assessment of laws. Under way forward, you are writing inculcate pre-legislative assessment and post-legislative assessment of laws. Pre-legislative assessment and post-legislative assessment of the laws. Pre-legislative and post-legislative assessment of laws, that is one. Then they itself repeal obsolete laws. Obsolete means outdated, obsolete overlapping laws. Repeal obsolete OBSO, obsolete outdated laws based on recommendations of Ramanujan Committee. Repeal obsolete and outdated laws based on the recommendations of Ramanujan Committee. Recommendations of Ramanujan Committee. Then okay, I think mostly we have written. Fine. That codification will write separately, ADL will write separately, Election Commission separate. Okay, fine. So that is done. Then, okay, Public Accounts Committee they have mentioned, because remember, so I mean it's a old one, 2023 question, but if in case you get extra pointers, you can note it down. I'll just go through it. Tenure, appointment, CAG, functions, most of it you would have mentioned. Significance of Parliament. Yeah, I think that's it. This is more broader kind of question. Look at it. If in case they ask what are some of the major issues faced in the Indian democratic political process, discuss strategies that could improve India's democratic political means overall India's democracy itself, which is not necessarily related to Parliament. Parliament also is part of it. Executive related, judiciary related, civil service related, criminal justice related. That will come back. That's a very broader topic. We'll leave that out. Okay, this we need to do now. Parliamentary privileges. Privileges, then okay, women reservation, that also will do it now. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. So this is the point. Now before doing this, what we'll do, 4 topics are there for us. One is anti-defection law, delimitation, women reservation, parliamentary pledges. 4 topics we need to write. You can take it as current affairs also, kind of theory linked also, everything, because all of them have been in use. First let's write about ADL, anti-defection law. Specific detailed question on ADL they have still not asked. As I told, only one question they had asked, if you recall, that MP decline in the role of MPs, there they linked it to ADL, but this time you had 2 questions related to ADL in prelims. So based on that, if in case they ask, because every year we'll write ADL, but you never know which year they'll ask, and every year it is in news also, we all know that. Overall details we'll write, so that any question on ADL you should be able to handle. First write the basic constitutional aspects, which are that 52nd Amendment 1985 10th schedule, 52nd Amendment 1985 10th schedule, 52nd Amendment 1985 and then 10th schedule. 10th schedule. Obviously first tell what do you mean by defection. Defection refers to change in the party by a legislator. Defection refers to change in the party by a legislator, change in the party by the legislature from which he or she was elected, from which he or she is elected. ADL tries to curb this practice. Intention of ADL is to curb this practice. ADL tries to curb this practice. Tries to curb this practice. That is the overall brief about it. Now, provisions of ADL. Provisions of ADL. Under that first one, with respect to party members, party legislators. With respect to party legislators. With respect to the party legislators. Obviously, what is the point? If a legislator voluntarily gives up the party membership, that's the keyword, voluntarily gives up party membership. If a legislator voluntarily gives up party membership, then or it leads to disqualification. If a legislator voluntarily gives up party membership, it leads to disqualification. It leads to the disqualification. That is A. Related to that only, under party legislators only, legislator should abide by the party directives. Legislator should abide by the party directives. Abide by the party directives. Else, party permission should be taken. Else, party permission should be taken. Or what is the other option? Else, party permission should be taken, or party permission should be taken, or the actions of the legislator should be condoned by the party within 15 days. Or the actions of the legislator should be condoned by the party within 15 days. Within 15 days. Condoned within 15 days. Obviously, if none of these happens, again what? Else disqualification. This is with respect to party legislators. Else disqualification. Then, with respect to nominated members, this is your basics with respect to nominated members. Obviously, you know the provision. What is it? Option for them to join a party within 6 months of nomination. Option for them to join a party within 6 months of nomination. To join a party within 6 months of nomination. To join a party within 6 months of the nomination. That is what? The next one, again, option for the presiding officers to give up party membership without being disqualified. Option for the presiding officers to give up party membership. To give up party membership without being disqualified. To give up party membership without being disqualified. Again, what they have to do? They should take up the party membership. They should take up party membership again. They should take up party membership again once they are not in the office. Once they give up the office. They should take back the party membership once they give up the office. Take back the party membership once they give back or they give up the office. Then in the original act, splits of the party was exempted from disqualification. Splits of the party were exempted from disqualification. Now, which amendment undid it? 91st Amendment 2003. 91st Amendment 2003 or 92nd? 91st Amendment 2003 discontinued it. 91st Amendment 2003 discontinued it. Then mergers of the parties are exempted from disqualification. Mergers of the parties are exempted from disqualification. Mergers of the parties are exempted from disqualification. And how does the mergers happen? Yeah, it happens when mergers of the parties are exempted from disqualification. It happens when minimum 2/3 of the members of the legislative party, means you have to take it as if you know only that particular house you have to take. It happens when minimum 2/3 of the members of the legislative party form their own group or join other party. So not necessary that you should join. Minimum 2/3 of the members of the legislative party form their own group, like the Eknath Shinde group, form their own group or join other party. If you want example it, for example, Eknath Shinde group formed out of original Shiv Sena. So they have still not joined BJP. Eknath Shinde group, which was formed out of original Shiv Sena. Or remember the which one? The Rajit Pawar group also the same, formed out of Shiv Sena. That is a merger aspect. Then again what they have done, any MP or any legislator disqualified based on ADL. I am just summing up, entire ADL should be there at one place. You should not refer to, you need not refer to any source to get the points related to ADL. Then current affairs, analysis, everything should be there. Any legislator disqualified based on ADL will not be eligible to hold minister position. Any legislator disqualified based on ADL will not be eligible to hold minister position. Will not be eligible to hold this minister position unless he or she is re-elected to the house or re-elected as a legislator. Unless he or she is re-elected to the legislature. Re-elected to the legislature. Then any legislator disqualified based on ADL, cannot hold any remunerative position offered by the government. Remunerative means like government is giving you any salary, any benefits, like office of profit. He is not eligible to hold any remunerative position offered by the government. Remunerative post or position offered by the government. Then decision maker under ADL is the presiding officer. Decision maker under ADL is presiding officer. Is presiding officer. Of course, what is it? Without time limit or no time limit is prescribed. Decision maker under ADL is presiding officer. No time limit is prescribed. No time limit is prescribed. Then presiding officer has the rules making power under ADL. Presiding officer has rule making power under ADL. Presiding officer has rule making power under ADL. Rule making power under ADL. Yeah, this is overall features. Now significance of ADL. Significance of ADL. First one, former PM Rajiv Gandhi described it as, because he was the PM when ADL was passed. Former PM Rajiv Gandhi described it as. Former PM Rajiv Gandhi described it as first step in cleaning up of Indian public life or Indian political life. First step in cleaning up of Indian political life. First step in cleaning up of Indian political life. Indian political life. Then 2, obviously what it tries to do? It tries to increase stability in the governments. Increase the stability in the government. Then it tries to curb unethical practices of legislators. It tries to curb unethical practices of the legislators. Means lure of money or position. Unethical practices of politicians or legislators. If you want, you can say in bracket, address Ayaram Gayaram phenomena. Address Ayaram Gayaram phenomena. You know all of that, so I need not discuss all of them again. Address Ayaram Gayaram phenomena. Ayaram Gayaram phenomenon. Fine. Then mergers of political parties. Mergers of political parties recognizes the reality of political dynamics. Recognizes the reality of political dynamics. Recognizes the reality of the political dynamics. Then your exactly statement of your prelims. Then Constitution for the first time gave a recognition for political parties in 52nd Amendment. Constitution for the first time gave recognition for political parties or mentioned about political parties in 52nd Amendment or ADL, whatever. Constitution for the first time mentioned about political parties in 52nd Amendment 1985. 52nd Amendment 1985. Yeah, now criticisms. Obviously, major criticisms are what? First one, Soli Sorabji criticized it as. Soli Sorabji, very famous advocate. Soli Sorabji criticized that. Remedy is worse than malady. Means here solution is worse than the problem. Soli Sorabji criticized that remedy is worse than malady in case of ADL. Remedy is worse than malady. M-A-L-A-D-Y means problem. Solution is worse than the problem in case of ADL. In case of ADL. Obviously, 2 is what? There is no time limit for decision making. There is no time limit for decision making. Obviously, what? The recent Manipur MLA's disqualification issue. Almost, how many years? Multiple years that they withheld it. Recent Manipur MLA's disqualification issue. Then, politicization of the office of Speaker. Politicization of the office of Speaker. Politicization of office of Speaker. Justice J.S. Verma said that politicization of the office of Speaker. Justice J.S. Verma said that as Speaker belongs to the ruling party. Justice J.S. Verma said that as Speaker belongs to the ruling party, he cannot take an impartial, unbiased decision. As Speaker belongs to the ruling party, he cannot take an impartial, unbiased decision. He cannot take an impartial, unbiased decision. Then what is the other criticism? ADL prohibits retail defection but allows wholesale defection. Means splits are not allowed, mergers allowed. ADL prohibits retail defection but allows wholesale defection. Allows wholesale defection. But allows wholesale defection. Then obviously one of the major criticism is what? ADL has transformed, this we note under your other topic also, ADL has transformed legislators into puppets in the hands of parties. Transformed legislators into puppets in the hands of parties. That means what they do? They represent party interest rather than the people's interest or constituency interest. They represent party interest rather than people's interest. They represent party interest rather than people's interest. Then freedom of speech and expression of legislators, Article 105 means parliamentary privilege compromised. Freedom of speech and expression of legislators, which is their privilege, is compromised. Freedom of speech and expression of legislators, which is a privilege, parliamentary privileges, is compromised. Then office of whip, which has no constitutional or statutory existence, is office of whip, which has no constitutional or statutory existence, is which has no constitutional or statutory existence is empowered or has become very powerful. Which has no constitutional or statutory existence has become very powerful. And then Supreme Court cases. 3 cases you need to remember always. Supreme Court cases. First one, Quixoto Holohan. Quixoto Holohan case. Quixoto Holohan case. What did Supreme Court say? Speaker's decision or presiding officer's decision is subjected to judicial review. Speaker's decision is subjected to judicial review. Speaker's decision is subjected to judicial review. Subjected to judicial review. Then Ravi Naik case. Ravi Nayak, N-A-I-K. Ravi Nayak case. So what is Supreme Court say? A legislator is considered as acting against the party. Legislator is considered as acting against the party based on their conduct. Based on his conduct and not necessarily giving up the party membership. Means because you might have seen so many instances where they continue with the party but still keep acting against the party. So it is based on their conduct and not based on what? Giving up of party membership. Based on their conduct and not necessarily based on giving up of party membership. Necessarily based on giving up of party membership. Now the recent case, Megha Chandra Singh case, Manipur case. Or if you want the other one, Kaisham Megha Chandra Singh case. Kaisham Megha Chandra Singh case. Famously Manipur case. Manipur Assembly case. Kaisham Megha Chandra Singh case. Decision making should be done within how many? 3 months. Or ADL disqualification issues should be decided within 3 months. Decision making should be done within 3 months. Should be done within 3 months. Then few other measures. Obviously, in addition to this, what are the other ones? You can write below. It's kind of related. Obviously, first one is what? NCRWC Law Commission. NCRWC Law Commission. What they told? Decision making should be given to an independent tribunal or election commission. Decision making should be given to an independent tribunal or law commission. Decision making should be given to an independent tribunal or law commission. Sorry, or election commission. Should be given to an independent tribunal or election commission, ECI. Then ADL should only apply. ADL should only apply in case of no confidence motion or budget. ADL should only apply in case of no confidence motion, budget and constitution amendment bills. No confidence motion, budget and constitution amendment bill. Constitution amendment bill. Then a legislator disqualified under ADL. A legislator disqualified under ADL should not be allowed to contest election. Legislator disqualified under ADL should not be allowed to contest election for the remaining term of the House. Should not be allowed to contest election for remaining term of the House, because as of now they can contest by election itself. Should not be allowed to contest elections for the remaining term. Again NCRWC. Then pre-election coalitions. Pre-election coalitions should be considered as a single party. So before election, if you are contesting together, that means they should be considered as single party. Pre-election coalition should be considered as single party. Considered as single party, and any future splits, means if they don't work together, because remember you might have seen all of that, should lead to disqualification. Any future splits should lead to disqualification. This is Law Commission. Should lead to disqualification. Then again Law Commission, what they have told, mergers should be not allowed. Mergers should not be allowed again, or mergers should lead to disqualification, ADL, Law Commission. Mergers should also lead to disqualification, similar to splits, Law Commission. Similar to splits, Law Commission. Yeah, this is your detailed anti-defection law because of Manipur, what do you call this kind of current affairs, or Maharashtra related mergers, or before that Madhya Pradesh, before that Rajasthan. We also have a question on that. If in case you get extra points, you note down, but I think that is more than enough whatever we have mentioned. I don't know where is the real issue. This is your question. On those lines you may get a question if in case they ask a explicit question on, specific question on anti-defection. Problem with it tries to find a legal solution to what is necessarily a political problem. Context, critically analyze effectiveness in realizing its stated objectives. So whatever, all those things we know. Recent examples, so many examples are there, as I told, right from Karnataka to the recent is Manipur, very, very famous one. And you know all these provisions. I think they have mentioned more detailed one. So I think that's fine. Related to anti-defection law, you can go and literally you bad this is more than enough. I don't think, because even if you get more points also, what you will not have? You will not have you don't have that level of scope to write it in your mains. Maximum is what? 15 marker, and I think it is for a 20 marker also you can write. So you just make use of 60-70% content. Absolutely, they cannot ask any question beyond these pointers with respect to anti-defection law. Fine? Huh? We'll send that PYQs also, even this also. Obviously, I'll post it in the group. No need to worry about that. I mean, this is based on 2-3 years. I mean, based on that, whatever important questions I felt is still relevant, so I've just retained them. And last year, because again, what we felt, even if I post it also, it will remain like that. That's why what I do now, no posting. I mean, I'll forward it if you want to, but that's why I just make sure that we dictate here itself by everything, so that it will help you for your writing practice also. It will become part of your notes. Then which is another issue, codification of parliamentary pledges is left out. Women reservation bill. So women reservation first we need to write, then codification, then delimitation. So I mean all the topics are interrelated. So one topic at least we need to write, then we can wind up for today. So which one shall we write? Because women reservation, I think multiple times we would have discussed. I mean, if you want with that also you can write, or delimitation or women reservation, 3 points. Okay, all 3 are equally important. We will go on a flow itself, because women reservation is based on delimitation. So let's write delimitation itself. Put the heading delimitation. Again, few basics will come, and then significance, and then limitations, all those things, or need, but not limitations here. First write the constitutional aspects. First write the articles, Article 82, Article 170. The moment you get delimitation, you should mention both the articles. Article 82, this is for Parliament. Article 170. Article 82, Article 170. And write the broader provision. Under Article 82, delimitation for constituencies should be conducted. Under Article 82, delimitation for the constituencies should be conducted after every census. Should be conducted after every census. After every census. Then first delimitation was conducted. First delimitation was conducted based on President's order. First delimitation was conducted based on President's order in consultation with ECI. Based on President's order in consultation with ECI. Based on President's order in consultation with ECI. Then 4 delimitation commissions have been appointed. 4, you can write DLC or delimitation commissions have been appointed based on census of 1951, 61, 71, 2001. Based on the census of 1951, 61, 71, 2001. This was your last year prelims question. 1951, 61, 71, 2001. Fine. Then Delimitation includes under that first one, A, reallocation of the number of seats to the states. Delimitation includes reallocation of number of seats to the states, of course UTs also, reallocation of number of seats to the states and UTs. B, redrawing the boundaries of constituencies, redrawing of the boundaries of constituencies, redrawing of the boundaries of constituencies. Then C, reservation of the seats for SC and ST, of course on that reallocation, reservation of the seats for SC and ST and its reallocation, reservation of the seats for SC and ST and its reallocation, reservation of the seats for SC and ST and its reallocation. Right, that is what is delimitation. Then 42nd Amendment 1976 froze the number of seats. 42nd Amendment 1976 froze the number of seats for 25 years. Froze the number of seats for 25 years. 25 years. Obviously, what is the intention they told? This was to control the population. Is the stated purpose. This was to control the population. Then 84th Amendment 2001 extended the freeze for next, till 2026. 84th Amendment 2001 extended the freezing of seats till 2026. Extended the freezing of seats till 2026. Then 87th Amendment 2003. 87th Amendment 2003. Redraw the boundaries of constituencies without changing the number of seats based on 2001 census. 87th Amendment 2003 redraw boundaries of constituencies without changing number of seats or without increasing the seats, whatever, based on 2001 census. Based on 2001 census. 2001 census. Then, of course, if in case they ask about delimitation commission, because that was also in news. Delimitation commission. Then we'll go to need for delimitation, then challenges, then way forward. Delimitation commission, temporary statutory body established by Parliament. Temporary statutory body established by Parliament. Temporary statutory body established by Parliament. Members appointed by President. Members appointed by President. Members appointed by President. Then includes retired or serving Supreme Court judge. Includes retired Supreme Court judge normally as chairperson. Retired Supreme Court judge as chairperson, CEC or EC, plus CEO of respective state, Chief Electoral Officer. CEC or EC plus CEO of respective state. CEO of respective state. Chief Electoral Officer of the respective state. Then its reports are binding. Its reports are binding, no judicial review. Reports are binding, no judicial review. Then 4th Delimitation Commission, 4th DLC, headed by Justice Kuldeep Singh. 2002 Delimitation Commission. 4th DLC headed by Justice Kuldeep Singh. Justice Kuldeep Singh. Then Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai Commission. Justice Kuldeep Singh. Then Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai Commission conducted delimitation for Jammu Kashmir after 29. There is abrogation of 370. Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai Commission conducted delimitation for J&K after abrogation of 370 in 2019. After abrogation of 370 in 2019. Now what is it doing? It is conducting delimitation for few northeast states, means Assam, Arunachal, I think, and Mizoram or something. Now it is conducting delimitation for few northeast states. For few northeast states. For few northeast states. Now, need for delimitation post 2026. That's the burning issue. Current affairs, Tamil Nadu, all those things you might have seen, continuously controversies was there. Need for delimitation post 2026. Post 2026. Fine. First one, it has already been 50 years. It has already been 50 years since last delimitation. In other words, reallocation of seats. It's already been 50 years since reallocation of seats. Since reallocation of seats. India's population was around 55 crore in 19 or based on 1971 census. India's population was around 55 crore in 1971 census. According to UN, it is around 145 crore in 2025. It was around 55 crore based on 1971 census. It is around 145 crore based on this UN, according to UN in 2025. 145 crore 2025. That means that is much major one. 2. On an average, an MP should represent around 10 lakh. This is expected one. On an average, an MP should represent around 10 lakh people. On an average, an MP should represent around 10 lakh people. In states like UP, one MP represents around 25 to 30 lakh people. In states like UP, one MP represents around 25 to 30 lakh people. One MP represents around 25 to 30 lakh people. Obviously, what this does? This violates equality of representation. Violates equality of representation. Now, extension of this point. Democracy is based on the principle of one person, one vote, one value. Democracy is based on the principle of one person, one vote, one value. However, because of population issues, value of the Kerala voter is more than the value of UP voter, because so many people are voting, 30 lakh people, here 10-12 lakh people will be voting in one constituency. Value of Kerala voter is more than the value of UP voter. More than the value of UP voter. Fine. Then reservation for SC and ST is also based on delimitation. Reservation for SC and ST is also based on delimitation. Their representation should be increased to undo or to address historical injustice. Reservation for SC and ST is also based on delimitation. Their representation should be increased to address historical injustice. Same extension point. 106th Amendment 2023 itself is based on what? Delimitation. And Sixth Amendment 2023 itself is based on delimitation. Women's reservation itself is based on delimitation. Is based on delimitation. Fine. Then less representation compared to their population for north and central states. Actually, that is also a truth point. I mean, criticisms will write later. Less representation compared to their population. Compared to their population for north and central states. For north and central states. And what this might be? This is one of the reason for, this is, that's why we are writing it, this is one of the reasons for less development or relatively less development in these states. Relatively less development in these states. Fine. Okay, so this is why we need actually delimitation. Now obviously what? Challenges of delimitation. Obviously, first major challenge is what? If it is completely based on population, Lok Sabha strength should be around, or Lok Sabha strength will be more than 1400. If it is completely based on population, Lok Sabha strength will be more than 1400. In fact, we have more than 1400, and which is what? Which is practically not feasible, because new parliament itself has what? 888 Lok Sabha seats, which is practically not feasible. Practically not feasible. That is first challenge. Second challenge, if total strength is the same, if total strength is retained and seats are reallocated, let's say you keep it as 543 only or 552 only, if the total strength is retained and seats are reallocated between the states, then obviously what will happen? Then, and seats are reallocated, then south states will be disincentivized. Then the south states will be disincentivized. South states will be disincentivized. Fine. Then next one, another one, south states will get less representation, in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which will affect federal balance. Less representation in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which will affect the federal balance. Okay, that's another one. Next is which one? The role of presiding officers will be challenging. Role of presiding officers will be challenging if there is huge increase in the strength. If there is huge increase in the strength. Huge increase in the strength. Then what is the way forward then? Way forward, as followed by 15th Finance Commission in their horizontal devolution, as followed by 15th Finance Commission in its horizontal devolution, in bracket demographic performance criteria, in its horizontal devolution, That is hard. I mean, yeah, correct. Demographic performance criteria. That means what we can do? South and western states can be incentivized for their population control. South and western states can be incentivized for their population control by allocating more seats. South and western states can be incentivized for their population control measures by providing more seats. By providing more seats. And that is one of the measure. Second, in US, the strength of House of Representatives is fixed from 1913, means more than 100 years. In US, strength of House of Representatives is fixed from 1913, means for more than 100 years. For more than 100 years. But then what they do? However, it is reallocated based on the population percentage increase of the states. However, it is reallocated based on population percentage increase of the states. But again, what is the point? Based on population percentage increase of the states. That we don't know, will it be actually able to follow or not. Of course, third, what we need to do, similar to Ramnath Kovind panel on one nation, one election, similar to Ramnath Kovind panel on one nation, one election, a high panel empowered committee, similar to Ramnath Kovind panel on one nation, one election, a high panel empowered committee should be established on this issue. Should be established on this issue. Yeah, so I think broadly these are your delimitation issues. Did we see any question related to that here? Parliamentary reforms, PSC. Parliamentary privileges. Okay, I think delimitation, I have not made a question here. Yeah, any extra points, of course, you can go and add it. So another reservation issue, women reservation and parliamentary pledges will start from tomorrow and will continue tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you may have a class little early because afternoon again I have some other work. So we'll announce it will be either 7:30 or 8. So only morning session you will be having tomorrow. Probably it may change also, we don't know, depending on other ones. From day after it will be the same, so that we'll announce. For one day, please cooperate. We'll announce the timing 7:30 or 8. I'm just telling you so that you know. It's fine, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. Please go and revise. I mean, if possible today. In ಯಾರಂತ ಬ್ಯಾಟಿಂಗು ಅಥವಾ ಮಳೆನಾ?